I haven't got many friends, but my trash can is a trusty friend. I'm so lonely. Find out after the introduction why I'm hugging a trash can. And why is there a really manky piece of banana peel in there? I think there's still some banana in there. Look. Hey guys, Cam here with another episode of Quiz Cam, and this episode's going to be a little bit different. As well as answering your questions, I'm going to intermingle them, as you will, with some random facts that you didn't know already about me, I think. Now the reason I've done it that way is because I came upon a little bit of a problem during trying to make this episode, as you'll see in this cutout. Two questions. How am I going to make a quiz cam video with two questions? Apart from the fact that I can't count, I only had 4 questions to answer, so I'm going to answer those as I always do, but I thought it'd be fun to let you know a few things that you didn't know about me already. But, first question. Do you think they will do an iMac with Retina display? If you do, when? I think eventually they will. They're clearly going all in for this Retina branding, Retina display, Retina resolutions on MacBooks now, MacBook Pro 13 and 15 inch, it's on iPads, iPhones. It will, I'm sure, eventually make it to an iMac. When? Who knows? I don't know if it's going to be this year or next year, but you'd think that eventually they will release one and it will be hideously expensive. My first Apple device was this. This is an iPod Classic, 80 gigabytes, lovingly brought for me by my wife. Little did she know this was going to lead to me eventually buying everything that Apple releases. I bet she wishes she hadn't now. I have a really random collection of nerdy stuff. I don't have like a big collection of one thing and a big collection of another thing. I have just random stuff that I like. I'm not your typical collector. So, for instance, I have the Lego Star Wars Y-Wing fighter. Complete with Gold Leader, who's sitting in the front. R2-A3 unit and Princess Leia, complete with gun and flexible cape. I speak 3 other languages apart from English, none of them that particularly well, but enough. Dwi'n siarad digon o Gymraeg gael sgwrs efo rhywun o Gogledd Cymru. Ek praat een klein beetje Afrikaans et je parle un peu de français. If Apple releases an iPad mini 2 with Retina display, will you trade in your first gen iPad mini? Also, do you have any interest in the 5th gen iPad? I'll answer the last question first. I have an interest in almost anything that Apple makes, obviously. I'm a bit of an Apple fan. But yes, I am interested in the iPad 5th gen because it's rumoured that it's going to take a lot of design influences from the iPad mini, i.e. being thin bezel, really small, lightweight, which is exactly what it needs. And yes, if the iPad mini 2 comes out with a Retina display, I will trade my iPad mini 1st gen in almost as soon as I find out, because that's the only thing I think the iPad mini needs to be a perfect device. If there was one Apple device I wish I could have had that I didn't get a chance to because I was too young and I didn't know what Apple was at that point, it would be the Apple Lisa. I think it's one of those computers that never really made it, but it was one of those that's really iconic in the fact that the design was just so cool for its day. It just wasn't very good. My daily Twitter driver on Mac and iOS, either iPad and iPhone, is Tweetbot, but at the weekends I do like to use Twitterific. Think of it as you will as my Twitter mistress, or twistress. She's hot. My favourite superhero growing up was Superman, but then I grew up. Do you like Matt? If so, hug a trash can. I've already answered that question. Secretly, I'm a bit of a BlackBerry fanboy. Obviously I love using iOS and Apple products, but I'm really having to fight myself hard not to buy a Z10 today. I want to buy a Z10. No! My full name is Cameron James DeVette Bunton. Broken down, that means crooked nose, the supplanter, the law, songbird. So essentially, the ugly broken-nosed singer who will do anything to get fame, even if it means taking something out of his friends. I'm also a bit legalistic. What do you think about Apple's stock prices? Will it go back up again? I'm not a financial expert and I'm not going to pretend to be, but I have been reading a lot this week, obviously, as everyone has, about Apple's stock, and it seems to be that what's making it go down is that it was too high to begin with. I mean, it was really, really high. Around September time it hit about $720 per share, and that was because loads of analysts came out saying that Apple was going to be the first trillion-dollar company, they're going to sell bazillions of iPhones, they're going to release a new Apple TV, and then they didn't. They didn't meet those expectations, and the investors who stupidly went along with the suggestions from the analysts that were just guesses anyway, thought, hang on a minute, Apple's not as great to invest in as they said they were going to be. So what's happened is your Apple stock has come down to a much more reasonable level. It's still one of the most valuable companies in the world, and they have 137 billion of cash in the bank, so it's okay. I play guitar. Acoustic. Electric. It's out of tune. And it's not plugged in. Classical. And a little bit of ukulele. I have a really crazy obsession with Temple Run 2. Anyway, that's been it from me, Cam, as usual. I will film another episode next week, so please leave me some questions. Otherwise I've got nothing to do except bore you with facts about me that you never really wanted to know anyway. So come on, ask me a question. You can even use Twitter. I'm at @TIP_Cam and use the hashtag #QuizCam. Or I'll do something. Bye. Well, you suck! You suck! You can't even swim! That's how much you suck! Indiana Jones could swim.